social media are likely to recommend that brand to family and friends. Our VP Sakaya Thomas's experience with using social media has been a positive one. In fact, she says, Primerica Social gives me the opportunity to promote and grow my Primerica business on social media with approved and compliant company posts. I'm able to prospect my followers for the business opportunity and provide financial education. It is a great tool, and I've had success growing my Primerica business. So this is the part of the presentation where I will give you step-by-steps on how to access Primerica Social. So the way that you would access Primerica Social is you would access it through the Primerica app or POL. These screenshots here showcase exactly what that would look like depending on the avenue that you decide to take. So let's say you've decided that you are going to access it through the Primerica app. Once you log in, what you're going to look for is that social media tile, which is located right here. You're going to click on there and you'll be brought to a new window where you're going to look for Access Primerica Social. You're going to click on there. If you're planning on accessing Primerica Social through POL, once you log in, you're going to be looking for the Social Media and Digital Optimization Center, this image here. Once you click on here, you'll be brought to a new window where you will click on Access Primerica Social. Once you do that, you'll be brought to another window that says, Welcome to Primerica Social. This is where you'll be required to select Login. You'll agree to the third-party disclaimer, which will be right here, and then you will be brought into Primerica Social. It is important to note that Sprinkler is in the web address, and that is only because they provide the technical support for the app. So just know that you are in the correct place. It is also important to mention that you must log in to Primerica Social via POL or the Primerica app first to authenticate your account. This will establish your profile and allow you to see content that is based on your licensing. So once you've done step 2, what you'll want to do is head over to your profile settings. And this step is extremely important, as this will assure you the ability to be able to see content. The way that you'll get over to your profile settings is by clicking on your initials. Once you do that, you'll see an edit profile, and in some cases, it may even say complete profile. You'll click on there. Once you do that, you will want to make sure the fields are all properly filled out. So make sure that your first name is there, your last name, your work email, and also you want to make sure that you make a language preference. Then you select save. Once you do that, on the same page, you'll just scroll down, and this is where you'll be able to link your social accounts. You can link your personal Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter accounts. Now you can also link your Facebook business page. So to link your Facebook business page, what you'll want to do is select the page option that's under Facebook. If you want to link your personal page, you're going to want to select the accounts option under Facebook. So once you've linked your social accounts, you will be able to browse all the available content categories that are available for you to be able to share to your social media pages. The categories that are listed in light blue do not require a license. So let's say that you are a new rep with Primerica. This is content that will automatically be available for you to start using today. Those listed in black are those that do require a license. So once you do become licensed, then these content categories will become available for you. It is important to mention that the content topics that you see there come directly from you, the field. It comes from feedback that we've received at events, feedback from surveys and analytics of engagement from Primerica Social and our corporate channels. So you are aware, because of the highly regulated product, we do not have content specific to mortgages. That's something that we are still trying to navigate. But I would like to mention that we do have content that are specific to securities, and that's something that we do plan on adding more of. So once you browse the available content categories, let's just say that there's a post that you would like to share. These are the steps that you would take to be able to do that. You would click share on the post you would like to share, choose which account you would like to share it to, and then share the content. It will go out live on that social media platform. It is important to note that the POL and the Primerica app versions of Primerica Social only allow you to share to LinkedIn and Twitter. So if you would like to share to Facebook and Instagram, you would need to download the Primerica Social app. And that is located in your Apple app or your Google Play Store. Once you've downloaded it, your sign-in will be your 5-digit rep ID and your POL password. It is important to note that before you download the Primerica Social app, you must first log in to Primerica Social via the POL or the Primerica app first. Remember, that is what establishes your profile and pulls content that's based on your licensing. So before you download the Primerica Social app, you still have to log into POL or the Primerica app first. Then you can take this step where you'll be able to share to your Facebook and your Instagram pages. So once you have downloaded the Primerica Social app, and let's say that you decided that there is a post that you really like, and you know your followers are going to find it to be, educational. These are the steps that you'll be able to take to be able to share that content to that page. So let's say we want to share it to Facebook. We're going to click Share to Facebook, where you will be taken to the app to post the caption and the image. The caption and the image will automatically, the caption will automatically be copied to your phone. You'll choose whether you want to post it to your newsfeed or your stories. You're going to want to select newsfeed. And then once you get into there, what you'll only see is just the photo. But that lets you know that you've done the steps right. What you'll need to do is in this area right here where it says say something, you want to do a double tap or long holding. And then the word paste will pop up. You're going to want to select paste. Then the caption, the words will be added to the photo. Then you select post and that will go out for you on Facebook. It is important to note that the Primerica Social content is pre-approved as written and cannot be edited or altered in any way. So you must share the content as written. So the great thing about the Primerica Social app is the features. You have the calendar feature that showcases, what you sent and what you're planning on sending, as well as the scheduling feature where you can schedule your content to go out beforehand to help you with your social media plan. And then lastly, you have the resource center that links you to the social media blueprint that tells you what approved hashtags you can use and also provides you with answers to some frequently asked questions. So speaking of the social media blueprint, that is also located on POL. And what that is, it just outlines, what you can and cannot do on social media. It talks to you about how you can build and protect your business online. It provides you with tips on using social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So this is a great resource, especially when you are, planning on using social media for your business. Something else I would like to mention is the Field Marketing Manual. That's for our US reps. And the Advertising Handbook, that is for our Canadian reps. This can be found under the Compliance tab of POL, and this is an in-depth look into our compliance policies. So this is another great resource for you to take a look at. So depending on your social media strategy, you may want to create, some content on your own, and that is something you absolutely can do. But there are just some things that you should keep in mind. The first one is this one here. The FTC strictly prohibits earnings and lifestyle claims. So this includes photos and videos of luxury vehicles, homes, and items that are not typical of your average agent. So I always say you want to think of it like this. You want to show your Primerica life and not your lifestyle. So taking a look at the example that's right there on your screen, on the left-hand side is an example of something you can do, where Alex Martinez, who is not a real rep, by the way, he says, what an amazing day on the water with my favorite people. #LoveMyLife. This is an example of something you absolutely can do, where he is more so just focusing on his life. Whereas on the right-hand side, he is specifically talking about his lifestyle, where he says, who says our business doesn't pay off? Primerica rocks, and adds, a list of hashtags. So this is an example of something that you want to stay away from on social media, as he's specifically talking about this luxury item and how he was able to obtain this as a result of working with Primerica. Something else you want to keep in mind is congratulatory earnings posts. You can recognize your teammates for earning milestones like a watch, a ring, or a diamond. You just have to make sure you include that disclosure link that is right there on your screen. That is required for LinkedIn, Facebook, and your Twitter post. Due to the formatting on Instagram, you can't add links. So what you would be required to do is that required disclosure statement that's right there on your screen. Both of these can be found in the social media blueprint. So that is just something for you to keep in mind if you're planning on adding these types of posts to your social media. Something else you want to keep in mind is you cannot share milestones of 1 million plus on social media. And for our Canadian reps, you cannot recognize yours or your teammates' sales activity or revenue generation. This includes all images and content, recognizing milestones, product productions, earnings, and etc. So taking a look at the examples on your screen there on the left-hand side is something you absolutely can do, where Alex Martinez says, so proud of my teammates for becoming new $100,000 earners in Primerica. Congratulations, and adds that disclosure link. An example of something you absolutely can do. But on the right-hand side is what you can't do, where he says, in the last 3 weeks, I've made over 10K with Primerica, and adds that disclosure link. So the reason why this would be an issue on social media is, number one, he is specifically talking about his earnings. That's one thing. Number two, the other thing is the image that you see there that he's showcasing. All this money, right? This luxury item, right? All this cash. So this would be something that you definitely want to stay away from on social media. So what you can do on the left-hand side is, you can recognize your teammates, congratulate them for earning, their milestones, but just keep in mind, you definitely don't want to talk about your earnings claims. And also you want to make sure the image that you're using also isn't showcasing a luxury lifestyle. All right, so solicitations. Representatives are prohibited from creating posts to solicit business. So I always say you want to educate and not sell. So just taking a look at the example that's right there on your screen. On the left-hand side is more of an educational post. This is something that would be, what you can do on social media, where he says, by learning simple financial concepts from a Primerica representative, you'll be taking a bold step in the right direction towards your future. So that would be an example of something you absolutely can do. Whereas on the right-hand side, it is a solicitation where he says, I can get you the best price for term life insurance. Contact me for a life insurance quote. So that's something you absolutely want to stay away from on social media. The great thing about Primerica Social is we do have that pre-approved educational and product content that you can easily share to your social media pages. So that is just something that you can absolutely do. So recruiting posts, you can create posts to recruit online. You just have to make sure that it represents the business opportunity. Online posts misrepresenting Primerica's business opportunity is strictly prohibited. So this includes implying that Primerica is offering any salaried positions, any guarantee of earnings, or implying that the opportunity is a corporate position. So taking a look at the example that's right there on your screen on the left-hand side is something you absolutely can do, where, Alex Martinez says, are you looking to improve your financial future? A great opportunity is closer than you think. DM me for a link to our webinar. So this is an example of something you absolutely can do on social media. Something that you can't do is what Alex Martinez says on the right, where he says, are you looking for a part-time position where you can earn $1,500 to $2,000 a month? DM me for a link to our webinar. So this would be a problematic post just because he is specifically talking about guaranteeing earnings, which is something that we cannot do on social media. So to take the guesswork out of advertising business opportunities online, we do recommend using that pre-approved content in Primerica Social, or you can even use that content as inspiration to create something on your own. So you are aware we will be hosting a recruiting on social media webinar on January 17th at 7 p.m. for those interested in learning more about how to recruit on social media and to be compliant. So check your inbox for that invitation. So I know that this is a lot of information to take in one sitting, so don't worry. We will follow up with with an email that outlines everything that we've covered in this presentation today to better equip you. But some things for you to remember is to access Primerica Social, you have to access it through POL or the Primerica app. You must log in this way first to establish your profile and to pull your licenses. Your login will be your 5-digit rep ID and your POL password. Note that your password will change automatically when your POL password is updated every 30 days. And don't forget, you must download the Primerica Social app from your Apple app or your Google Play Store to post to Facebook and Instagram. And by linking your social media accounts, we will not have access to your personal data, private messages, or any other posts. And then lastly, content is added on the regular. So you can always expect to see new content in Primerica Social that you can share to your pages. So just so you are aware, we do have resources that are available for you to help you be a success on social media. In the Social Media and Digital Optimization Center, we have training videos, how-to guides there, so you can feel free to check those out if you ever have any questions in regards to social media. That is where you can also find that social media blueprint, which is our high-level overview of our social media policies. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to take an in-depth look into our compliance and social media policies, you want to take a look at the Field Marketing Manual for our U.S. reps and the Canadian Advertising Handbook for our Canadian reps. And this would not be a Primerica Social webinar without me plugging in our corporate channels. We do encourage you guys to join the conversation with us. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We ask you to join the conversation by liking and sharing our posts. If there is a post on our corporate channels that you would like to share to your social media pages, you absolutely can do that. Know that compliance has approved that. So that's another way that you can switch up the content on your social media pages. And now we're going to switch over to our Q&A section, but listed here are just a few frequently asked questions that we do get. So you can feel free to jot those down. But I do ask, with Primerica Social, our goal is to help you, build your online presence. So if you or anyone that you know is finding success with Primerica Social, please feel free to let us know. We would love to hear from you. Send us an email at socialmedia@primerica.com. Let's say, you just started using it and you're finding success, or, maybe later on in a couple months, you're seeing that this is working and this is great. Please reach out to us. Let us know. We would love to hear from you. You can send us an email at socialmedia@primerica.com. So now I'm going to switch over to you to answer some of your questions that you guys have submitted. And just know that, we won't be able to get to all of your questions. So feel free to send those to me if we don't get to your questions at socialmedia@primerica.com. Just make sure you also include your rep ID number. So if there's something that I need to troubleshoot for you on the back end, I can start doing that immediately for you. So the first question I received here is, let's see. Someone has said, what is recommended for Facebook, personal page or a business page? So that decision is up to you. With a personal page, you're just really basically limited to, likes and comments, right? With a business page, you will have access to tools that your personal page doesn't give you. So with your business page, you'll actually have, analytics that you can look at. You can see, who your audience is, what time your audience is on, what type of posts that they're liking, how many people have seen your post, how many people have liked it, how many people have shared it. So there are benefits of having a business page versus a personal page. So that decision really is up to you. Some people tend to just start off with a personal page because that's what they feel comfortable with, and then eventually, work their way up to a business page. And some people just jump into having a business page right away. So it really is up to you. But as I mentioned, a business page gives you more analytics and gives you more things that you can work with versus your personal page, which is really limiting. All you really see are your likes and your comments. Okay. So the next question is, how would you get people to know about your Facebook business page if you set one up? So if you set up a personal page, for instance, you can, find your friend, you can find friends, you can find family members, and you can invite them to, invite them as your friend. But if you get a business page, what you can do is you can, invite those friends and those family members to your business page. And then what I would suggest is inviting those friends and those families, people like those people that you have become your friends now, invite them to your business page, invite their friends to your business page, and so on and so on and so on. And then before you know it, you're starting to grow a following. Something else that you can do is, on Facebook, there are recommended friends that you get. So you'll get a notification that says, oh, recommended friend. Invite them to your business page. Why not? That's a great way to start to grow your following. So you can do that as well. So those are just two things that you can do, is just inviting your, family and friends to your business page, as well as looking at those recommended friends on Facebook to start growing your followers. So those are just two things that you can do starting right away. So someone says, could you go over the sharing the captions to Facebook and Instagram again? Sure. Let me try to go back here. Pardon me. Sorry. Let me go back. So what will happen is once you click share to Facebook or Instagram, you will be taken to the app, and the caption, which are the words, are automatically copied to your phone. So it'll take you to the app, and then you'll choose whether you want to add it to your newsfeed, your stories, or your groups. And then you're going to want to select newsfeed. And then what'll happen is you'll only see the image. That's going to be the first thing you see, is just the image. So what you want to do is, in the area that says say something about this photo, you want to do a double tap or a long holding in this area right here. And then the word paste will pop up. You're going to select paste. Once you do that, the words will be added to the post. So now you have the words and the photo. Once you have that, then you select post, and it will go out for you. So that's how you add the caption. You have to, do that double tap or long holding in the area that would have text, and then add it there by clicking on, paste. So that's what you want to definitely do for that. So hopefully I was able to answer your question. All right, so the next question I have is, can we post on more platforms than Facebook and Instagram, such as Twitter, TikTok, or LinkedIn? So currently, Primerica representatives are permitted to share content, post content to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So you can do all four of those. TikTok is something that we're still navigating through. It is something that we know and are aware is popular, but it's something that we're still trying to understand. So that is something that, you're not permitted to do at this point. So what you want to focus on right now is just Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then eventually, if Twitter is something that becomes available, we'll definitely pass that along to you. But at this time, you are permitted to use those four platforms. But we are looking into TikTok, so just be aware of that. Okay, so someone has said, will I have to wait until I have a life license to use Primerica Social? So no, you don't have to wait. Actually, you can start using content right away. So listed here, the light blue that's listed right here, these categories will automatically be ready for you to use right now once you access Primerica Social without a license. So you will have content automatically ready for you. Once you become licensed, then the other categories that are listed in black will become available. So you can start using Primerica Social today. So great question. Someone says, are there rules about hashtags? So yes, we do have a list of approved hashtags that you can use. You can find that list in the social media blueprint. There's, hashtags you can and you cannot use. Hashtags is a great way to jump into conversations that people are having about a particular topic. So, if you're not using hashtags, I do recommend, looking into the approved hashtags list so you can also join that conversation. But yes, there is an approved hashtags list that you can access in the social media blueprint that you can utilize for your social media content. So someone says, what should I name my business page? So what we recommend and what we suggest is to identify yourself and Primerica in the name of your business. So for example, for me, it would be Amanda Liba Primerica Representative. So you want to make sure that you use, your name and identify yourself and Primerica. So it would be Amanda Liba Primerica Representative. So hopefully I was able to answer that question for you. Someone says, if I use my laptop, do I still have to download the app from the App Store? So if you decide to use your app, what you'll have to do, if you want to use your desktop, remember the POL and the Primerica app versions only allow you to share to Facebook, to Twitter and LinkedIn. So you would only be able to share content from those two platforms. If you want to share to Facebook and Instagram, you will need to download the Primerica social app. That way you can do all 4 platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. But if you want to just use your desktop, then you will only be able to share content to your LinkedIn and your Twitter pages. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Someone says, if I have content ideas or suggestions for Primerica Social, where can I submit them? You can submit them to me. You can send them to socialmedia@primerica.com. I'm going to go ahead and go to the FAQ page. So my email address is up there for you. You can send those suggestions, those content suggestions to me, and I will pass that on to my team. So yes, socialmedia@primerica.com. Great question. Thank you. Someone says, do you have to use your title? So if you are listing your affiliation with Primerica, you will need to either use representative or your approved sales force designation. So yes, that is something that you will have to do. Someone says, if a potential customer responds to one of the social posts that I've shared, is it okay for me to respond to them? So if a potential client responds to any of your, product specific posts from Primerica Social, we do say to please take that conversation offline to avoid any potential regulatory violations. If the response is in regards to like a recruiting post, for instance, you're welcome to provide that individual with your contact information so you can further discuss the business opportunity. Okay. Someone says, what is a good way to raise awareness about the credibility of Primerica? So the image and credibility category in Primerica Social is a great starting point for that. It includes thought leadership articles from company leaders, posts acknowledging awards that Primerica has received. So that would be a great place to start for that. All right, so someone has said, how do we get this recording to listen to it again? So this recording is something that we will put up on a POL at a later time. So, you can look out for that on POL, or you can reach out to me and I can provide you with a link for you to watch it later. All right, so someone else has said, can I post Primerica Social content on a Facebook business page for another business? So unfortunately, that would be viewed as, mixing businesses. So you may want to only share Primerica Social content to your Primerica Social Facebook business page. But what you can do, for instance, if you're trying to, you're ultimately what you're trying to do is expand your reach. So you can, post the post on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn page, and your Twitter page, right? So you can try to, add this post to all 4 of those platforms, because the reality is you may have, different followers on each of those platforms. So you might have, you should have different people on each of your social media pages. So it's not as if you're saying the same exact thing to the same group of people. So that's one way that you can, expand your reach, is by sharing your post to all 4 of your different platforms. Okay, so someone has said, what is my login information? So your login for Primerica Social would be your 5-digit rep ID and your POL password. That is a great question. I get that often. So someone says, can you go over the correct way to name my Facebook business page? So the way that you would want to do that is you want to identify yourself and Primerica. So the way that you would do it would be, for instance, I'm going to use myself as an example. It would be Amanda Liba Primerica representative, or you can use your approved Salesforce designation. So you want to identify yourself as well as Primerica. So I'll say it again. For me, it would be Amanda Liba Primerica representative. Or, if you want to use your approved designated Salesforce designation, that's something else you can do. All right, so hopefully I was able to answer all of your questions. As I mentioned earlier, as you're using Primerica Social, if you're having success, we would love to hear it. So feel free to reach out to us, as well as if you have any questions. Let's say you have questions following the webinar, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is socialmedia@primerica.com. Just make sure you also include your rep ID. And following this webinar, I will follow up with some resources that outlines everything that we've covered in this webinar. So look out for that. Thank you all for joining me for the Primerica Social webinar. Have a great rest of your day.